Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's honestly defying all logic in the world of sports. We are breaking down the sheer shock value, the statistical impossibilities, and the tactical brilliance of Lionel Messi's current World Cup run. What we're witnessing right now isn't just an athlete playing well in his twilight years. It is an absolute masterclass in adaptation. We're going to explore exactly how Messi is still performing at a world-class level while other players his age inevitably fade away, and how he's transformed his game from explosive physical speed to just unparalleled high-level game intelligence.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. First, defying age and expectations. Second, from explosive to efficient. Third, the Tiger Woods aura. Fourth, a team built for genius. And finally, number 5, cementing an immortal legacy.
Section 1. Defying age and expectations. The statistical miracles of a veteran. Let's start by focusing on the raw numbers that are quite literally defying the natural laws of athletic aging.
39. I really want to emphasize this age because in the context of global football, and especially at a World Cup, this number is staggering. Think about the timeline of a typical career, right? It is incredibly rare to peak again at the absolute finish line. Usually by 39, a player's legs are gone and their impact drops off a cliff. But commentators are noting that at 39, almost every single thing Messi touches is turned to gold. He's playing with this unbelievable sense of freedom and pure enjoyment. He isn't struggling to keep up with the pace of the game, he's completely dictating it.
And it's not just about playing well, it's about making history. This number 7 represents a monumental milestone. Lionel Messi is now the first player in the entire history of the FIFA World Cup to score in 7 consecutive games. I mean, really think about the magnitude of that. Consistently finding the back of the net on the world's biggest stage, game after game, under immense pressure. Past legends like Pelé or Maradona couldn't even string that together at their peak, let alone at the very tail end of their careers.
And with his recent performance, he's actually extended his overall World Cup goal record to 19. What's incredible here is how he's achieving this. Take the recent match against Jordan. He didn't even start. Scaloni made 9 changes, putting Messi on the bench. Yet, he comes on in the 58th minute and turns what could have been just a quiet little cameo into yet another historic milestone. It proves he doesn't need a full 90 minutes of sprinting to completely change the game anymore.
Section 2. From explosive to efficient, redefining his play style for longevity. Let's see how this builds, because the transition from the stats to the actual tactical changes on the pitch is absolutely fascinating.
This really illustrates the core of his longevity. If you rewind and look at Messi 10 years ago, he was busy, electric. He was picking up the ball at the halfway line, dropping his shoulder, and physically running all over the pitch to beat 4 or 5 defenders with sheer explosive speed. Today, at 39, he's a fundamentally different player. He utilizes limited movement to maximize his efficiency. He acts as this supreme strategic playmaker. He conserves his energy, reads the field like a chess grandmaster, and strikes only when the probability of success is absolute. He's totally traded physical explosion for game intelligence.
And honestly, nothing shows this strategic efficiency better than his set pieces. Let's break down that specific sequence from the Jordan match. He gets a free kick. Step 1. He takes a sighter shot. The ball goes just over the crossbar. He's gauging the strike, right? Testing the wall, testing the keeper. A few minutes later, he gets another opportunity. Step 2. Deadly precision. He just effortlessly strokes it along the ground into the bottom corner. As the analyst pointed out, it wasn't even struck with overwhelming power, but it was perfectly placed. Set pieces have become his ultimate weapon because they require zero running, just pure, concentrated technique.
Which brings us to this brilliant observation from Thierry Henry, who said, "He doesn't chase records, records chases him." Because of this highly efficient, calculated playstyle, the historic moments just seem to occur organically. He isn't overexerting his body or forcing the issue. He just lets the game come to him, and through his intelligence, the records naturally follow. Section 3. The Tiger Woods aura. Psychological warfare on the pitch. Now we're diving into an intangible dimension of his game that you simply can't measure with physical tracking data. Commentators repeatedly describe his presence as an aura. The moment he steps off the bench, the entire energy of the stadium shifts. The crowd roars, his teammates lift their heads, and most importantly, the opponents freeze. Even in the studio watching the game, analysts admit they involuntarily sit up and lock in because they know it's game time. This intangible psychological weight creates a preemptive hesitation in whoever he's playing against.
Let's look at this cross-sports comparison that experts are making because it is spot on. Tiger Woods in golf freaked everyone out on the first tee before even swinging his club.
Roger Federer in tennis made opponents feel like they were already down a set during the warm-up. Michael Jordan in basketball exuded this unmatched, intimidating aura. And Lionel Messi does the exact same thing on the football pitch. He makes everyone around him overthink. As one pundit noted, that second free kick against Jordan wasn't actually struck perfectly. Objectively, a keeper should have stopped it. But because it was Messi standing over the ball, the wall hesitated, the goalkeeper second-guessed himself, and they played badly simply because of who he is. His presence alone dictates the tempo.
Section 4. A team built for genius. How the ecosystem adapts. Because the crucial point here is that a 39-year-old cannot do this alone in modern football. The ecosystem around him has to adapt. Scaloni has essentially constructed an environment specifically designed to let a 39-year-old artist thrive. Look at these distinct roles. You have Enzo Fernandez, who commentators are now calling the bully. He provides that vital physical aggression and midfield protection. You have Rodrigo de Paul acting as the relentless, reliable engine. You have Lautaro Martinez carrying the goal-scoring burden up front. And because these players are doing the heavy lifting, the grueling physical work, Lionel Messi is free to be the magician. He can come off the bench, conserve his energy, and just deliver those strokes of genius.
This team works because of their deep squad firepower, bringing in talents like Julian Alvarez and Nico Paz. But more importantly, pundits highlight their unmatched, streetwise mentality. They possess this pure football savviness and a willingness to turn matches into an absolute street fight if needed. They provide the grit. It's really a masterclass in leadership. When a team fully buys into protecting their most valuable asset, the whole group elevates. There's this ultimate unity around Messi. They recognize his genius and willingly sacrifice their own physical energy to cover the ground he no longer can, creating the perfect tactical cradle for him.
Section 5. Cementing an immortal legacy. The greatest final act in sports? As we step back and look at the grand narrative we've been talking about today, we really have to talk about what this means for the history books.
13. With his goal against Jordan, Messi has now scored against 13 different teams at a World Cup. That is a staggering statistic. It cements his sustained dominance against totally diverse global opponents over an incredibly long span of time. He isn't just beating up on one specific style of play. He's dismantling teams from every continent year after year, World Cup after World Cup.
And beyond the stats, there is this sheer emotional impact he provides. Zlatan Ibrahimovic perfectly captured this, saying, "He came in, he gave the fans what they wanted. They can go home now and keep singing his name." People are paying an absolute fortune just for a glimpse of his magic. When he steps on the field, there is a massive weight of expectation to deliver for the fans who traveled across the world just to see him. And remarkably, at 39, he rewards them every single time.
Which leaves us with this final thought. By transitioning from a player of explosive physical speed to one of pure, supreme game intelligence, by utilizing an aura that mentally defeats opponents before they even move, and by integrating perfectly into a team designed to protect and elevate him, are we currently witnessing the most masterful, efficient final act in the history of sports? I'll let you be the judge of that, but man, the history unfolding right in front of us is nothing short of poetic. Thanks for joining this explainer, and keep your eyes on the pitch.